there is life after death. Suddenly, I was on a large rock, a huge rock, like a cliff. I was shattered by that rock because it came up like this, and I was standing back in the shadows with another person, another man. Who it was, I do not know. I looked down, and there was the most beautiful river I have ever seen. So there is a river. I did not see its beginning nor its end. But it was the most beautiful, peaceful, placid river that I had ever beheld in all of my life. And then I looked out, and the Lord let me see the holy city, the New Jerusalem. Beautiful. Beautiful. I feel like John felt on Patmos. There are no words to describe. No words. You're going to have to pray for me. Several things I noticed about this city. I noticed the buildings. There are mansions there. They look to me more like castles. Now, don't try to compare my experience with anyone else's. I'm not trying to compare mine with anyone else's. God lets different people see different things. But these were the most beautiful mansions I've ever seen, all in white. The whitest white, the purest white. So pure, so white. The cleanliness of that city was beyond all imagination. I thought we had beautiful... I thought the world was pretty. I remember going through the mountains in Tennessee in the fall and seeing all the different colored leaves. And, oh, isn't this beautiful? It's nothing. Believe me, it is nothing. And I could understand when I saw that city, and I saw its beauty, and I saw its purity, and I saw its cleanliness. In a moment, I'm not saying this is an angel, and there are many kinds of heavenly beings. In a moment, the street that was right in front of me was so wide. Was so wide. But I remembered there was a questioning. All of the time, the 20 days I was in the hospital, there was a question in my mind. Because I'd always thought, that the streets are made of gold. But this street was not gold, it was transparent. And this puzzled me. It really puzzled me. And I could not read my Bible unless I began to weep, and I deliberately did not read Revelation until yesterday. And I want you to know, when I read this, I almost had another heart attack. The question that I had was, well, this street, this golden street, but it's transparent. It seems like I can see through it. And this puzzled me the whole time I was in the hospital. And I turned to read Revelation 21. Do not read it right now. Listen. In verse 21, this is what it says. And the 12 gates were 12 pearls. Every several gate was of one pearl. And the street of the city was pure gold, as it were transparent glass. Isn't that beautiful? I'd never read that before. That gives me goosebumps. The gold that we know is not the gold that's in heaven. In a moment, coming down that street was this beautiful, large, heavenly being. And I noticed that this heavenly being was not walking. Neither was this heavenly being flying, but just as if he was on air, just moving along. This heavenly being came closer and closer with hands out like this. And I thought, it was going to come on over and get me, because I couldn't cross that river. And I noticed as this heavenly being got closer and closer, he also got brighter and brighter. And the rays of light came down. Those rays of light would make the sun look insignificant. Glorious rays of glorious light. And as this heavenly being got closer, and I saw the light coming down, I looked up. When I looked up, I came to. The first words I heard was, "We will take him to ICU." I was so disappointed. I want to close this by saying to you, there is peace in the valley. Psalm 23, David said, "Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me." That is true. And when you walk through death, the valley of death, and you have appropriated the promises of God and the words of God in the Bible, then there is perfect peace, and there is a peace that can only come from God. And I can honestly say, God being my helper, I can honestly say I have never been at so much peace in all of my life as I was when I walked down the steps, when I was in my study, when I was on the way to the hospital, and through it all. For He was with me. There's peace in the valley. When you come to die, have no fear, for He is there.